Hey everybody, today is time for a good old-fashioned book haul. I have been sent some amazing books and I cannot wait to tell you about all of them because as always, I want every single one of them on your TBR. So, without further ado, let's get started. Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's Russell with Ink and Paper Blog. How are you all doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. I hope that you are well. I hope you're healthy. I hope you're safe. And of course, I hope you're reading a book or two or three or four, whatever floats your boat. It is another beautiful day here in Northern California. This is only a couple days into the work week and it has been a work week. I'm just telling you right now. So I personally am very glad that the workday is over and that I get to talk about books with y'all. Today is a book haul of a stack. It is quite a few books, but I have to say I've heard some mixed feelings about book hauls. I love them because this is where I find a lot of the books that I want to buy, I want to request, I want to read, all of that kind of stuff. So I love them and I hope you all love them as well because I'm about to do one with so many books that you're going to want on your TBR. So get out your pen, get out your paper, get out your Goodreads, however you keep track of that TBR. If you are so able, please order a book from your local independent bookstore. If you're not and you're a library user, get your library to get you a copy as soon as these books come out. I have a stack, so I'm going to have to talk fast, so I better get going. The first book I want to talk to you about is The Inland Sea by Madeleine Watts, out now from Catapult. You can get your hands on this one as we speak. A little bit of Aussie lit there for you, Jacqueline. Now, The Inland Sea is really a story in two parts. The first part is a young woman. She's sort of in her final year of college, and what she decides to do is take a job as a 911 operator. The job is a little bit monotonous. You know, it's sort of answer the call, do this, do that. However, she starts to sort of feel these desperate situations creep into her life, so much so that when she leaves work, she's a little more on the defensive, a little bit more ready for something bad to happen because all day, that's all work, that's all she hears about. Now, she leads a very carefree life. She often gets very, very drunk. She sleeps with people without really thinking of the repercussions, and she really doesn't know where her life is going to go. On the other side of the coin is the story of her great-great-great-great-grandfather, who was a British explorer, John Oxley, who went across the wilderness of Australia looking for this infamous inland sea, this mythic body of water. And what we find is, as the two stories are told, sort of the history of the family, sort of their history kind of comes together. And it's a story really about search and finding out what you want to do with your life, also in search of something that you feel gives you meaning, like the Inland Sea. I am really excited about this book. I've heard nothing but great things. So that's The Inland Sea by Madeleine Watts. This is out from Catapult. Thank you very much, Catapult, for sending me this finished copy. It is beautiful. As always, guys, a lot of these books are gifted to me by the publishers, so I say a big, big thank you. I am so appreciative, and all of them sound amazing. So let's keep going. The next book I want to talk to you about is Popisho by Leone Ross, out from FSG. This book comes out April 20th, so not that far away. This is the story of this fictitious island called Popisho, where everyone is born with sort of a little bit of a magic gift. Now, our main character, who's named Xavier Redshoes, he has a special power. It's a power born once in a generation where he makes people a meal, one meal at the right time. The meal is only served to you at that exact time. His lover is this woman who is sort of on a journey to get in touch and sort of really fulfill what her healing powers are. Now we have a young woman who's about to get married also, whose father wants this big meal made for her, but it's not the time for that meal. And all of that's going to come together, this island, all of that sort of intrigue, and also these people sort of figuring out how to use their power correctly. I like the way that this sort of ends. It says here, before the end of the day, this widely imaginative narrative will take us across the islands, their history, and into the lives of unforgettable characters. It's a portrait of a community. and I love it. So I think it's going to be sort of almost like a community saga with a little bit of magic woven in. So I'm really excited about this one. And that's Popisho by Leone Ross, out from FSG on April 20th. You can get your hands on it right now. Do you sometimes read the title of a book and you read it 5 different ways in your head before you actually say it? That just happened to me. I was like, what? Just say the one that feels right, Russell. The next book is also from Catapult, and that is Brother, Sister, Mother, Explorer by Jamie Figueroa. This is a book, I want to make sure I get the city where it takes place right. It's in a town called Ciudad de Tres Hermanas, and it's the story of a brother and a sister who are in this town where they grew up for the last time. Their mother has just passed away. Now the brother is in a space, a very dark space, and is feeling like he's going to end his life. He's not going to continue going forward. The sister convinces them to spend a day collecting money, doing sort of an act in sort of public. And if they make enough money to buy their tickets to leave the island, they will go away together, and the brother will forget sort of this idea of not continuing his life. However, if they don't make enough money, she will support him in this decision. And it's the story of them and the relationship between them as they do this act to see how it is all going to end in the end. End in the end. That is a very poetic sentence. That's Brother, Sister, Mother, Explorer by Jamie Figueroa, out now. This came out on March 2nd, so you can get your hands on it from Catapult. That cover is something gorgeous, is it not? I keep getting lost in sort of the maze aspect, and then I realize it's 2 faces. Loving it, Catapult, loving it. Okay, next is probably one of my most anticipated reads of the year. If you have been a fan of my channel, you know I am a huge Morgan Jerkins fan, and she is publishing her first work of fiction, Caul Baby. This comes out in April as well. Sorry, I don't have an exact date. I don't think I have the paper in here. I am sorry, but it is coming out next month, which is only a few days away. How to describe this book? So again, this is a family saga told through many different people. So we have a young woman named Lila who really wants to have a child more than anything. And unfortunately, many of her pregnancies have ended in sadness. So she goes to this family that has this skin called the Caul that's supposed to have a magical sort of healing power. And she has sort of brokered her way into getting a small piece, but it falls through. Her baby that she has does not make it, and she is utterly sad. But then another member of the family, a niece, brings in a young child into the family, and it is raised by this other group, the ones with this magic skin, the Caul. And then what we have is we have the point of view of that young woman, that baby, as she grows up being raised by a family, wondering if the woman she calls mom is actually the woman who gave birth to her. And so you have all of the stories of these 3 women, because the woman who has the baby is in college. She's very driven. She wants to be an attorney, I believe. I can't quite remember if she's an attorney or not, but hey, there you go. But she's very driven, and she has a very specific career path. And it's a story of all 3 of these women going in and out of each other's lives. Morgan Jerkins is one of my favorite nonfiction writers, so I am super excited to see what she does in fiction. And this cover, oh my goodness, Harper. Oh, goodness. So this is Caul Baby by Morgan Jerkins. This is out in April from Harper. Just take that cover could literally be on my wall. It's so gorgeous. Okay. Now we're going to do a little bit of fantasy. I think I've talked about this book in another video, but that doesn't mean I shouldn't talk about it now, because maybe you missed putting it on your TBR, and you really need to put The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke on your TBR. This is actually out now. It came out last week, so you guys can get your hands on it as we speak. The Unbroken is a fantasy story set in sort of a northern Africa. Whew, okay. It's set in northern Africa, and it's we have 2 different characters both on different sides of a revolution. We have the warrior and we have royalty. But what's going to happen, as you know, it's going to come together. I think that there are queer elements in this book. I think that this is going to be an action adventure. I'm so excited about this one. This is very near to the top of my TBR because I've been craving a really awesome fantasy. So this is The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke. This is out from Orbit. You can get your hands on it right now, and I hope you do. That cover, she looks fierce. Does she not look fierce? Wouldn't want to run into her on a battlefield. Okay, a book that I talked about as one of my most anticipated reads of 2021 is Sorrowland by Rivers Solomon. They wrote The Deep, which I absolutely adored. And then I saw Roxane Gay read this and give it 5 stars, so I was so excited when it showed up in the mail, so thank you, FSG. And this comes out on May 4th, so it's sort of like an early birthday present for me. This is the story of Vern. We're in a world, in sort of a dystopian world. She's pregnant, and she decides to flee into the forest, but the world won't leave her behind, so she is willing to do whatever it takes to defend her little family. And I mean whatever. I think this book is going to be... she's going to be a vicious defender of her family. But there's also this aspect of she's coming to terms sort of with who she is and the changes that she's going through outside in this wilderness. But the world, sort of the settlement world, is not willing to leave her alone, and it's all going to come to head. So Rivers Solomon is one of those authors where they write with such precision that it is so easy to get lost in their narratives. So I am really excited about this one. So that's Sorrowland by Rivers Solomon, out from FSG. You can get your hands on this on May 4th. Okay, only a few more. I talked about this. This book is actually next. I'm reading it next. And I talked about it in my past, present, future reading, and that's Raft of Stars by Andrew J. Graff. This actually just came out now. I'm going to go pick up a copy this weekend, and this is from Ecco. This is the story of 2 young boys. It's set in 1994 in a little town in Wisconsin. They both have really hard lives, really hard family lives. And then one day, one of them gets really tired of how the father is treating their friend, and a gun goes off. Now they think that they have killed this man, so they flee into the forest. And this is the story of their fleeing, also at the same time as 4 adults go into the forest in search of them. We're going to learn not only about the boys, but also about these 4 adults and all of their stories and their backstories, or how they come together. And I think that this is about revelation. This is about learning who you are through tough situations. And I am really excited about this one. So that's Raft of Stars by Andrew J. Graff. This is out now from Ecco. You can get your hands on it as we speak. I forgot how big this pile of books was, y'all. I did. A little translated fiction for you. This is The North Face of the Heart by Dolores Redondo, translated by Michael Megas. And I'm saying Michael's last name wrong, so I apologize. This is actually out from Amazon Crossing. Now, I've done a little bit of research. Dolores Redondo is very well known for this police series that she does. And this is a standalone novel that stands outside of that series, but is of the same character, who is Amaya Salazar. So she is a detective in northern Spain. But in this book, she winds up coming to America, to Virginia, to the FBI, Quantico, to train with them. And she winds up sort of be taken into an investigation into a serial killer who is known as the Composer. And what he does is he kills people in concert with natural disasters. And then he sets up their bodies in such a way when that natural disaster occurs that it all sort of makes sense. Is that not the creepiest thing you've ever heard? I believe I heard that this has already been optioned for a film. So I don't know, I'm getting such Silence of the Lambs vibes, but I'm super excited about how this, I think you can just get lost in this story. It is a bit of a chunkster, I'm not gonna lie. It is 463 pages, so, you know, but if it's a thriller that keeps me going, I'm on board. So that's The North Face of the Heart by Dolores Redondo, translated by Michael Megas. Dolores is my mother's name, and I have met so many Doloreses lately. It's like Dolores is making a comeback as a name. So I'm really excited about this. So thank you, Amazon Crossing, very much for sending me this. And the next one we're going to talk about. Now, they sent me this one. This is the book in this pile that I know the least about. And that's At the End of the Matinee by Kiichiro Hirano, translated from the Japanese by Juliet Winters Carpenter, again from Amazon Crossing. And I'm not sure when this one comes out. Oh, I should say that Dolores' book comes out in June. I think this one comes out very, very soon. This cover is gorgeous too, by the way. So this is a love story between two people. One of them is a guitar player, a classical guitar player, and the other one is a journalist. And I think, from what I understand, is they communicate with each other over years. And so sometimes they go out of communication and then they come back and they have just sort of like this really meaningful interaction with each other, and they don't realize what is going on between them. And what it says here, will their connection endure, weaving them back together like instruments in a symphony, or will fate lead them apart? So I don't know much about this one. I think it sounds lovely. Japanese literature never really does me wrong. So it's At the End of the Matinee by Kiichiro Hirano, translated by Juliet Winters Carpenter, out from Amazon Crossing as we speak, I believe. I think it just came out. If not, it's very soon, and I apologize. Last but not least is a book that I'm super excited about, and that is Early Morning Riser by Katherine Heiny. Now, I read Standard Deviation, which was Katherine's last book, and I absolutely loved it. And randomly, we became Facebook friends, and I just really adore her. So I'm super excited for Early Morning Riser. This is the story of Jane. Now, Jane falls in love with this man named Duncan. It's one of those, it's so easy to fall in love with him, but then you find out, or she already knows really, that he has been around. He has had many an interaction with many a people, and he is one of those people that just has slept with nearly every woman in their little tiny town. Now, Jane gets tired of seeing all these people everywhere, and she sort of gets tired of having to share Duncan with other people. She wants him, and he's still involved with like his ex-wife, and there's just other people that are always sort of craving his attention. And then what happens is there's a tragic accident, a tragic car crash, a terrible car crash, and it sort of changes everything. And Jane starts to realize that there may be a point where she's not going to be able to not share Duncan for the rest of their lives. And what does that mean? And all of the other characters that come into that story and come into that relationship. I love it. It says, but could it be possible that a deeper kind of happiness is right in front of Jane's eyes? Now, if you haven't read Katherine Heiny, I believe when I think about her, she just always has such heart, but also like she's funny. She's really funny. So I'm really excited about this one. And this one comes out in April as well. So you should be able to get your hands on it before we know it. And that cover is quite beautiful too. It's sort of like this weird art. It's just like this color blocking art, but then you recognize it's a bed and you just really love it. I really love it. So that is my stack of books, y'all. I was going to try to pick it up for you and take a picture and show you them all, but it's quite big and I'm afraid I'll drop it. As always, if you are a return subscriber, thank you very, very much. I could not do this without you. If you are new to my channel, thank you. Please subscribe, hit that little notification button, and you will get a little notification every time I post a video. As always, I encourage you to read globally, shop locally, and until next time, I wish you happy reading. Bye.